CHICKEN. Use the code chicken in the shop. CHICKEN. Use the code chicken.
Guys, the chicken is here. We are back today with another Brawl Stars video. In today's video, guys, we got a special one for you. We're going to be ranking all of the legendary, not chromatic, not rare, not super rare brawlers, but the legendary brawlers in order from best to worst, just in terms of overall how good they are. Just, I would say, overall how good they are in terms of all game modes and just everything as a big kind of blanket statement. So this is going to be not subjective, very definitive. This list is official. So if you disagree with this, that means you are, in fact, wrong. So let me know if you disagree down below in the comment section. But guys, make sure you got the code chicken plugged into the shop. It does expire every 7 days. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, it does help to support that. So I do appreciate if you guys go ahead and use that in the shop. So let's talk about it. So we're going to sort our brawlers here by rarity, and you can see we have Amber, Sandy, Leon, and Spike. So we have 5 legendary brawlers. Now let's order them in terms of how good they are like across all game modes, not specific to solo showdown, not specific to pushing trophies, not specific to anything. Just who is like you pick up the brawler, you're blind, and who are you going to win with the most times in gem grab with randoms? You know what I mean? Who has the most power? So number 1, the best legendary in the game is Spike. Spike is the best legendary in the game because he is simply the best brawler out of the 5 brawlers to use. He's got the best attack, he's got the best damage, he's got decent health, he's got good range, Spike is the definition, in my opinion, of a legendary brawler. He's everything a legendary brawler should be. So a legendary brawler should be one of the brawlers that you can use that are very good, that are better than the average brawler. That's definitely Spike. And also, they're very interesting. They have different gameplay mechanics. Like their shot is very different than a lot of other brawlers. Spike is definitely that. Spike is essentially a Barley that shoots faster and has more health, a little bit less range, but also has like a secondary shot. So Spike is just amazing in it of his own. He's in another, Spike would be like S tier if we're gonna do this as like a tier list. So next up. Now, this one might be a little bit controversial. I'm sure all of these will be controversial. We have Leon. Leon is going to be number 2 in the list simply because his super is so OP. It's so good. And if you can get really good with Leon, you can really decimate the opposing team in any sort of game mode. You can dominate a gem grab, you can dominate a solo showdown, you can do really well in Power League. Obviously, there's some stuff that, every brawler is not going to be great at, but if you're picking Leon, you're going to be pretty set. You're going to be pretty set. He's definitely a lot better than most brawlers. He's got the range, he's got the damage. You notice with the legendary brawlers that typically they have a little bit more range than like a typical mid-range brawler. And they do a little bit more damage, and they have like a cool kind of mechanic that makes them different, that makes them stand out from the rest of the brawlers, and that's Leon to a T. So I believe Leon also definitely fits within the legendary category. I think he's just not quite as good as Spike. And that's mostly because once they nerfed his super to the fact where it wasn't just like you get an auto kill every time that you use it, it was a little bit easier to spot him, and then it was his invisibility didn't last as long. Once they did that, he was definitely brought down to earth a little bit. But I think if you can get good with Leon, he's got really high. He's got a really high skill ceiling. Like you can get, you can do some really crazy things with him. Now next we have a bit of a hodgepodge. We've got Amber, we've got Sandy, and we have Crow. Now, I'm actually going to put Crow as number 3, and this might be, this is probably my most disagreed with list, ranking here. It's crazy, the amount of snow. It's May, and we got like a few inches of snow coming down. Crazy, only in Canada, right? But, so I would put Crow as number 3. Now, Crow is kind of, I said he was controversial because, he does a lot of damage. but he's a bit soft. He's a bit easy to kill, and I think the way to make Crow a little bit more desirable as a legendary brawler, I think the way to do that is to simply just give him more health. He just dies kind of too easily, and his damage takes, he's got the poison, which is great. It does a lot of damage, but it kind of turns the way that you have to play him. You can't be aggressive with Crow, or you're just going to get smoked. You kind of have to jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out, which is true with all brawlers, but it's really the only way to really excel with Crow compared to Spike or Leon. They can get in there, they can muscle it up with Primo, and they can jump back, and they can do the jump, they can do the jump in, jump out kind of style of play. So they have multiple play styles. Crow's really kind of he's not very good if you're going to play him aggressively. He kind of has to sit back and pick his opportunities. He's got a great super. He has extremely different gameplay mechanics. They're very interesting. They're very different. They work very well. So again, kind of going back to Leon, I think Crow's another one of those brawlers that has a very high skill ceiling. If you can get very good with him, he can be extremely excellent, which is true for any brawler. But with Crow specifically, I feel like that's definitely true. But it's just kind of, he's less of a pick up and play brawler and more of a, you really got to get familiar with him and fine tune him and really lock in with his play style to be able to get the most out of him. So for that reason, I would put Crow as number 3. Now, next we have Sandy and Amber. Now, it's hard to put one of these brawlers in front of the other one. If I had to do it, I would probably put Sandy just a touch ahead of Amber. Sandy's got a really great super. Amber can be tricky to use. The thing with Amber is she's, really good at some things, but she's really, really bad at other things. Like, if you're playing solo showdown with Amber and you get caught in, like, a bad spot, you're kind of screwed because you can't do a lot of damage up close. She's great at range, at a distance, but when you compare to Sandy, Sandy can do that up close spurt damage, and she doesn't have nearly the range. She's almost like Sandy's like a pretty straight cut mid-tier, mid-range type of brawler, but Sandy's super is really amazing. Her gadgets are really good, so it kind of makes up for that. She's not just like a kind of Sandy's almost like Shelly, but with cooler mechanics and a little bit less damage and a little bit less health. So for that reason, I would rank Sandy a little bit above, just because in terms of this tier list that we're doing, it's kind of just who's overall better at everything. If you're going to close your eyes, unlock one brawler for every single game mode, I would put Sandy a little bit above Amber. But that's not to say that Amber isn't good. Amber is very good. She deserves some skins for sure. But the cool thing about Amber is there's no other brawler like her. She is in a category of her own in terms of her shot, in terms of her damage, in terms of her super. Now, she can be very, very good. And I definitely have a ton of fun using her. I also have a lot of fun using Sandy, but I would put Sandy above her, I think. But you guys let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. This was kind of a tough one to do a ranking video on, but yeah, I feel like Amber is a little bit worse off in some ways, and it's basically just because her shot, I forget what it's called. It only shoots in a line, so that really kind of handicaps you to not being able to shoot at certain enemies. I mean, if you can get someone in a line of fire, yeah, you can do tons of damage all of a sudden. Her super also isn't that great. It's kind of like one of those supers where it's like, if you're already in a good position, you're going to be doing a lot better, but it doesn't necessarily help you out if, like, just overall, like if you're in a bad position, or if you're trying to establish position, her super doesn't really help you out that much, and it's hard to control. It's kind of hard to control with it as well. Typically, most supers that the brawlers have, it's going to give you some element of control over the battlefield. Like spikes, for example, you can really force players one way or the other. Crows, when you have your super, it really opens up You know, people are not going to come in as close to you because they know you can just jump over top of them. And the same, obviously, same for Leon. His super is, you know, different from Control, but it still has, you know, a lot of attributes that they're very good. So that's my legendary Brawler tier list ranking. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. It's funny that the list that I went in is literally from my highest trophies to my lowest trophies. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but you guys let me know down below in the comments what you think. And yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.